Hi, Michael Yardley here for my regular Rich Habits, Poor Habits podcast with Tom Corley. Welcome, Tom.
Hi, Michael. It's good to see you, my friend.
Now, Tom, today I'd like to talk about how does one know if you've really got what it takes to become a millionaire? I mean, we deal with people in our daily work on an ongoing basis, and almost everyone wants to become rich. And I know, according to your Rich Habits study, being rich eliminates a large percentage of the problems. As I've often said, any problem money can solve isn't really a problem at all. But aside from being able to buy a house or having a fancy watch, being rich means that you sometimes end up with less stress. Doesn't get rid of all the problems, and having money isn't the only answer to success by any means. But if you've got fewer problems, less stress, wouldn't that be nice? So I know you've done a lot of research, you've tabulated lots of information. Have you come across certain characteristics that makes it more likely that the person who exhibits these characteristics is likely to become wealthy in the future?
Yeah, so one of the things, this is actually one of the three ways that you can become wealthy, and it's pursuing a dream, something that you're passionate about, that you really, makes your heart sing, I guess. And it might be a dream that you've been thinking about for a long time and never had the courage, but, decide one day I'm going to do it on the side. It's like a side gig. That's always a smart thing. But that's one of the 51% of the self-made millionaires in my study, they became wealthy by pursuing or building something on the side, pursuing a dream and then building it over many years. And the interesting thing is, so the average self-made millionaire in my study was worth $3.4 million, and it took them 32 years to accumulate that wealth. The self-made millionaires, the subgroup who pursued dreams, they accumulated an average of $7.4 million over 12 years. And you say, well, how is that possible? Well, when you're pursuing a dream, it's usually something that requires a number of years that you're investing in it. And it has this avalanche of success. If it's going to be successful, it has sort of an avalanche of success, and it happens, and boom, next thing you know, you've got a windfall. So pursuing a dream is a really great way to become wealthy.
Okay, so we're looking at habits that you have to develop to make you more likely to become rich and successful. Next habit, Tom.
Well, so another way is to become kind of a virtuoso at what you do for your career. And the way to gain that virtuoso status is to educate yourself, self-educate yourself, or formal education. But my point is, you have to pursue some type of education where you're growing your knowledge and your skills. One of the great ways to do that is to, read every day. I do about an hour reading to 2 hours every single day just to learn. And I know the self-made millionaires in my study, 88% of them did at least 30 minutes a day. So it's a common trait among the wealthy. So if you're not reading, then you better be developing some skill. But because you can't become wealthy unless you're gaining knowledge or developing some skill.
Well, I remember watching Warren Buffett's biography movie, and still at his age and being one of the wealthiest people in the world, he is a continual voracious reader. Another way of working out whether you're going to become successful or not is a bit about how you think, your mindset, Tom.
Yeah, so I mean, I like to think of it as those individuals who think like an owner or think like a CEO. What does that mean? It means you take personal responsibility for, what your job, if you're working for somebody. You take personal responsibility for that. And boy, is that a difference maker, because when you have are working for someone and they know that you're taking personal responsibility as if it was your own business, they give you a long leash. So I think that's important. You want to be able to have that long leash so you can experiment on the job and do things to make yourself improve yourself. But mainly, if you think like an owner, you're going to take things seriously. You're not going to let things slip through the cracks.
And you also take responsibility. I think that's an important factor as well. So it's the way you think and the actions you take. Another trait I've found amongst successful people is they're prepared to take risks, but not at any cost. They're cautious, not reckless.
Yeah. So the difference between a reckless risk taker, which I guess I would consider like somebody who bets on the horses, is the cautious risk taker will spend days, weeks, maybe months studying and doing their homework before they take a risk. It might even be a year. So they try and gather as much information as they can. They might pilot certain things or do it on a part-time to learn as much as they can before they decide to go full bore into it. So they're cautious risk takers because they do their homework. They anticipate all of the possible outcomes, even the negative ones. And they look at what is the worst case scenario, and they have these scenarios listed, and then they have plans to execute in case one of those scenarios happens. And this is why when those problems do come, they half expect it. So this is one of the reasons they're persistent, because they are expecting problems because they planned for it.
Well, it's interesting, Tom. So while many people get stuck in paralysis by analysis, they actually do all the research you're talking about, but then don't take action. The big difference is successful people do take action because they've done their homework, but also because they know that they may fail and they're not afraid to fail, Tom.
Yeah, so what I found in my research on taking action, why it's so important, is it actually builds confidence. And that confidence gives you courage. And the more you take action, the less fearful you are of failing, because you've been down that road before. You've expected. You've run into obstacles, pitfalls. Everything sort of becomes familiar to you. So you're not afraid, as you were before. But one of the things that will create fear and doubt is inaction. Inaction will create fear and doubt. Action removes fear and doubt.
Well, for many people, and for those who tend to be successful, and again, we said they're not scared of failure. In fact, we've discussed this in previous sessions before too. I'm a real success at failure, but I get up every time and have another go, and it's what drives me to move forward. I think another is their attitude about work, Tom, their persistence, and they don't clock on and clock off. It's a different headspace, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. And I've been living and breathing this, because there's a lot of people in our self-help space, Michael. You know that. And we're just trying to help people improve their lives. Well, one of the things that I decided to do early on was I'm gonna write every single day. I write between 1,000 and 2,000 words every day. It takes me an hour to 2 hours every day. And I figure, I'm running 3 businesses. You're running a couple of businesses. You've got very limited time. I've got very limited time. But I feel if I can outwork others consistently, this is the key. It's not just outworking them one day and then for 29 days you do nothing. It's every day you go out and you try and outwork the other people. That's what successful people do. They have that mindset. I'm going to outwork people. If I have to work 12 hours a day, I'm going to work 12 hours a day.
Interesting. And that's probably because they've set themselves some goals and then they pursue their goals. So they're working for a purpose. They know where they're heading. They've learned to delay gratification. I'll work hard now because it's going to get me where I want to.
Yeah, so they have this dream that they're pursuing, and then they build goals around the dream. And they're passionate about the dream, so they're passionate about the goals. So they create habit goals every day, and they go after it every day, and they're consistent. So they continuously set and pursue goals, and they do that on a daily basis.
Okay, we're talking about some signs that you may have to make you more likely to become a millionaire. Billionaire could be either, that's okay. So one of them is that just your attitude and that you want to keep exceeding expectations.
Yeah, so, and here's the important thing about this. I want to make sure everybody gets this message. The best way to make people to exceed the expectations of others is to make sure you manage their expectations right out of the gate. If you set high expectations for other people, whether they're customers or clients, you better damn well meet those high expectations. So the smart millionaires, the smart people, they set expectations that are maybe below what they want to achieve for their customer or the client. So they get their customer or client to buy into some lower level expectation, and then they seek to exceed it. They already have in their mind what they want to do, so they set the bar a little bit lower just because they understand the psychology of success is that you want to exceed expectations of others.
Another sign that you're likely to become successful in life is your understanding of the importance about relationships, Tom.
Yeah, and this is one that's easy to escape and get away from you. When we're very busy, we can rationalize, I don't have the time to meet with so-and-so, my friend or my family. I don't have the time to make phone calls. You can rationalize all that stuff. You need to program time in your day or in your week or in your month of meeting with the relationships that matter to you, the ones you care about. Do you care about your family? Do you care about your friends or people that you're trying to build relationships with? Well, make a list of all the people you care about and then become a fanatic at keeping in touch with them and building relationship with them.
So another side, of course, is that you're likely to become successful is if you do get along with others. So you create those relationships, but you've got to be able to enjoy it too. You've got to be an outgoing, positive person.
I'll tell you this. There's a reason why the study after study after study shows that wealthy, successful people are upbeat and optimistic. It's because you cannot become successful if you're a negative, toxic person. You destroy relationships with your negative and your toxicity. You build relationships with your optimism and upbeat, positive mental outlook. So you want to be able to get along with others, but the prerequisite to that is a positive mental outlook.
And you've got to be a team player too, Tom. You can't do it on your own.
No, you and I know that. And you've built a wonderful team there. I've got 6 people that work for me in my CPA firm and 130 in my financial planning practice. We have a lot of people behind us. Why? Because we know that we've learned from our research of self-made millionaires and millionaires that they build these wonderful teams. And it's the teams that lift us up and carry us to the finish line. It's not our own individual efforts. The teams are the ones that building a team is the most important thing you can do if you're running an organization.
Well, not only the team, I guess it's also important the people that you hang around. It's often been said that you're like the 5 people you hang around the most. So hanging around with like-minded people who are positive, who are successful, who do educate themselves, all that helps bring you up, doesn't it, Tom?
Yeah, you really want your team and the people that you surround yourself with to be positive, upbeat people. Those are the people that are going to give you constructive criticism. The negative, toxic people, the people that are going to give you destructive criticism. Constructive criticism is positive feedback. Destructive criticism is negative feedback. It's a success killer. Destructive criticism. Constructive criticism is a success maker.
Fantastic. Well, there you have it. A number of signs to see if you could become a millionaire. If you have some of these habits, you're on your way. If you haven't, it's not too late. I think that's one of the things you learned from your study, Tom, that anyone in our countries living in the best time in history, in some of the best countries in the world, in the Western countries, where there are opportunities, you can change your way of thinking, which is going to change your habits, which is going to change the results in your life. Anyone can become rich today, Tom, if they put their mind to it.
Yep, that's for sure. The only time you can't become rich is if you're dead.
Well said. So I've actually got a copy of our book behind me there, Rich Habits, Poor Habits. So if anyone hasn't got it yet, they really should go to Amazon.com and get Rich Habits, Poor Habits and learn the habits that make the wealthy wealthier and how you can become one of them as well. Tom, thank you so much. It's been fun having another chat with you. Look forward to doing it again real soon.
Yeah, same here, Michael. I look forward to it.